Hey peeps, it's the Recruiter Report, and today I wanted to talk through what are some green flags that recruiters and hiring teams look for when you're in the interview process. And for the sake of today's conversation, I want to think about it from the time that you're contacted by the company all the way through when you're in an offer or negotiation phase, and what are some things that stand out. And for the sake of the discussion, I am going to walk through the process and talk about like some of the green flags that stand out positively for hiring teams. So you reach out, or a recruiter reaches out and says, hey, got your application. I would love to set up some time to talk or set you up to talk to a hiring leader. Green flags: responsiveness, being reasonable. So the recruiter is trying to set up or schedule some time. You're probably doing this either through email or text exchange, that your timing is reasonable from the standpoint of you applied to the position. So setting up a time, I think, is reasonable within a week. Of course, exceptions being family matters or vacation or those types of things, but hint, you applied for the position. So in all frankness, making yourself readily available to have that discussion in a reasonable time frame. So again, the green flags are responsiveness, and you'll hear me say this throughout it, but courtesy, that you are mannerable in those communications. Your tone is professional. Professional is the word. That you're professional in those communications. So they're already starting to get a good first impression in terms of courteous, professional, and responsive in terms of just literally coordinating and scheduling that particular first session. So you get on the phone, you have either recruiting or hiring screen, and here are some things that are looking for. That you've done your research, that is a valuable call for you both, and that you understand what the organization does from a business realm. You understand at least the outline framework of what the position is. You understand the job description and how and if you're aligned. And also in that call, you're being asked to position your background, that you understand what are some strengths and value that you're going to bring to the organization and how and why you're aligned. In that conversation, it's going to be the first flavor that that conversation, they're also looking for the culture fit or your personality. So getting some sense of that and whether or not that's going to work within that particular team or within the organization. So the green flags that are going to be great are the right amount of professional personality, as well as well-spoken in terms of communication. Again, it's a professional conversation, so being your personable, professional self, so they're getting a sense of who you are and what you can do. Again, the green flags are the conversation is dynamic. I can tell you, there has been as many people that I haven't moved forward because, in all frankness, they were boring and I couldn't get a sense of their personality, or the other extreme. They were so professional that it was boring too, because they were using all kind of jargon and it wasn't a natural conversation. So I got a sense of their representative versus who they are in terms of authenticity. That comes across every time. Again, in this phase, looking for who you are and what you're able to do. So now at this phase, you're probably going to move into another interview that's going to be more formal and more technical. What the interviewer is looking for is that, again, you've done your research on the position, some deeper dive research on the company, and what they're looking for in this process, what some of the green flags are: enthusiasm. You're really excited about the opportunity. This is your energy level. It's also about doing the research and your homework that shows that you're interested and are committed to this process. Other green flags are the chemistry. When you're talking to the interviewer, can they picture you at like a team lunch or dinner, and are they getting some sense of how you're going to complement or up-level the team, is what they're trying to solve for on both the cultural and technical sense. There is no right answer. It's just about, again, being authentic, understanding the makeup of the current team and how you're going to fit in or complement it. Things they're also looking for is technical. From a green flag perspective, that you know your stuff. In this market, people are looking for subject matter experts in whatever they do. So it's not just a matter of like knowing your experience, but also understanding like what's happening in the industry. What are the latest things in terms of either compliance or the latest trend in terms of technology, that you know your space and are some type of subject matter expert in terms of what you do, not just that you can do the job, that you're not just gonna be able to do your job, but that you're going to up-level the team and add value and impact to the organization. So it's going really good. You have another interview. Some of the same tactics you're looking for. And at this point, the green flag is going to be consistency. That conversation that you had with the recruiter, that first interviewer, that people are able to walk away with the same things. People should be saying the same thing about you. One of the call outs is that I would really say knowing what your brand is. Who are you from a personality perspective? What do you bring from an impact perspective to your teams? Are you a problem solver? Are you results oriented? Are you great at troubleshooting? Knowing these things about yourself and the things you want to convey are going to help you have a thread in terms of your interviews. The easiest way that you can discern this, if you don't already know, is look at your performance reviews over time and what are some of the call outs that people call out in terms of your strengths, your strengths in terms of what you do well. What are you, if you look back through current or previous emails, what are you always getting kudos or being recognized about? These are the themes that you want to provide examples for. You don't want to just say the fun jargon, but you want to know your brand so you're able to present consistently across all of your interviews. Again, if you're at the third round now, people want to, there's a buzz around you. The interviewer, recruiter have talked about you and have pre-briefed your next interview about you. And they want to make sure that they're all getting the same person from a consistency perspective. Congratulations. You got an offer. What are the green flags that people look for at the offer phase? Realistic. That I'm sure at this point you've had multiple conversations with the recruiter or HR about the salary range or budget for this position. Are you falling within that range? And if not, do you have data points to back it up? The green flag in terms of realistic is that you have some sense of what the market value is for this position. You understand where your salary history has fallen. You're able to speak to that directly, or particular skill sets or values that you'll bring to the team. Again, at this point in the conversation, it's not just about understanding what the company is bringing, but that you have data points to support your purview in terms of where you're looking for that offer to be. In particular, if you're going to negotiate, that there is data or content support, the why behind your counter. Again, in this process, this is where the manners come in. The correct response, whether you're going to negotiate, counter for an offer, is thank you. It's exciting to be at this phase. I appreciate that we're here. And this type of language that is affirming, but then you can say this. Thank you. I'm so excited that we're at this phase. If you will give me, I think a reasonable time is about 48, 72 hours to look over all of the data and the content, the whole offer letter and review the numbers, and then giving me time to come back with you with a response. That is money, literally. Giving yourself time to digest the offer, calculate everything in terms of total compensation. And when we use that term, we're talking about salary, bonus, any type of stock or 401k, and also any of your non-cash things like benefits, PTO, and the other elements that make up an offer. Again, you're saying, hey, thank you. Want to take the time to look at this all over and do my research. Did you know that it's okay, even if you're going to say yes, to give yourself a beat to look it all over? Also, the just manners are always green flags throughout the process. Again, when you're taking the time to review the offer, responsiveness. If you say you're going to get back in 72 hours, taking the time to get back in 72 hours. From a courtesy perspective, there are other candidates that are being considered for the position, and one, giving them space to make a decision in terms of looking at other candidates or to let other candidates know that they're moving forward with someone else. When you accept, still conveying your enthusiasm, understanding the process in reference to, is there a background check? Is there a drug screen? What are the things that need to take place? Do you need to give notice? And sharing that information in reference to your timing for a start date with the hiring team so they know and have expectations around when you're going to join. If you are working in the middle of a particular project, being super clear about it. The biggest green flag is setting the tone for what type of employee you're going to be, and the same traits in terms of courtesy, authenticity, trust, and credibility. I think this is all just professionalism, even down to the offer phase, and having the same thread of consistency, personality, and professionalism that you've had all along. And here's a big green flag, that you treat from an air of professionalism, even when you accept that offer and you guys come to terms, as if you're still interviewing. Because until you have your first day, you still are. It's your first 90 days. You got the job, you gave notice, you joined the organization, and it's your first 90 days. Here are the green flags that make for a great start. Curiosity and humility. Curiosity and humility. Even if you've done the same function for 10 plus years and you're an expert in your field, there's always a way that specific organizations handle that function, from a technology, cross-functional partners, and all of the dynamics that go into that company. It's okay to come in with a learner's mindset. While you might know the function in and out, what does it look like in this organization? And you might not have all the answers, and I guarantee you won't. That you are in learning mode in your first 90 days. While you'll want to have impact, it's okay, and this is a space to ask all the questions to affirm the assumptions you might have. Hey, I know when we are putting in our technology, we do this. Is that how you guys do this here? So again, you are an expert, but in this point in the first 90 days, you're in curiosity and learning mode, and everything that you might know comes with an air of humility. That while you have ownership because you're an expert, you are in learning mode at this organization and being humble to that experience. It's your first 90 days. This is a good time to check in. If there are any questions or things that you have unanswered or concerns, this might be the time to have a frank and schedule a one-on-one with your manager to just check in and have an honest conversation. This is, again, the green flag around this is ownership around your career and your journey. A great quote that I love is, interview hard, manage easy. People are hiring these days for people that they can discern are going to be easy to manage. You want to demonstrate these traits all throughout the interview process and even as you join. That you are professional, you bring who you are from a personality perspective to your job, and that's an asset. You're polite to everyone you interact with, and there's an air of equality amongst the people that you interact with, no matter their skill set or seniority. You are curious and humble to learn this firm way of doing things in terms of your position, and you are curious and humble to always learn and grow, and that this is your career. You take that seriously, and because you do, there's an air of ownership around managing your manager, and owning your growth and development. You got this. These are all the things you can do to be a billowing green flag as you interview and work. If you want to talk more about green flags that you have deciphered as an interviewer, a manager, or things that you've done well in your interview process, comment below, like, subscribe, and let's keep the conversation going. I love to get you hired up. Talk to you soon, friends.